Okay, let's dive in. We're going to crack the code on something that, let's be honest, trips up pretty much everyone at some point: the unwritten rules of English at work. And I'm not talking about textbook grammar here. We're talking about how people really talk to get things done and, get along.
You know that feeling, right? You're sitting in a meeting, someone says something, and everyone else just nods along. But you're left there thinking, wait, what did we actually just agree to? It's super common, and it's exactly the kind of thing we're going to clear up today.
Just look at the difference here. On the left, you've got direct, straight to the point English. I need your report by 3 p.m. Simple. But on the right, that's what you're much more likely to hear in an office. They both mean the exact same thing, but that second version is softer, way more polite, and just, well, it's how the game is played. And this is so important, so listen up. If you've ever felt lost by this kind of language, it's not a reflection on you or your English skills. Seriously, it's just that you haven't been let in on the secret conversational code. It's a whole set of rules that most native speakers use without even realizing it.
This brings us right to our first big idea: the power of being indirect. Now, this isn't about being confusing or sneaky. No, it's actually a really strategic way of communicating that honestly, you have to get good at to thrive in a professional setting.
So what is it exactly? Well, think of indirect communication as using softening language. You're using hints, suggestions, and these super polite questions to get your point across without sounding aggressive or demanding. It's an art form, really. Okay, let's make this super practical. This table shows it all perfectly. Help me with this. Oof, very direct, kind of demanding. Could you please help me? Better, right? It's polite. But that third one, I was hoping you might be able to lend a hand. Ah, now that is peak workplace English. It gets the message across, but it also gives the other person a really easy, comfortable way to say no if they're busy. So why on earth do people talk like this? Well, you can think of it as a kind of social lubricant for the office. It's all about showing respect, making criticism a little easier to hear, and just generally keeping the peace. It helps maintain team harmony by making sure nobody feels like they're being cornered or attacked. All right, next up, something that might seem kind of trivial, but is actually a huge piece of the puzzle: small talk. Believe me, it is not just about filling awkward silences before a meeting starts. It's a core part of this whole communication code. So what is the real point of it? I mean, beyond talking about the weather or what you did over the weekend. The real goal is to build rapport. It's about making a genuine human connection before you dive into all the business stuff. It literally builds the trust you need to work well together. And the good news is, it doesn't have to be painful or awkward. There's a pretty simple formula you can follow. First, just find some common ground. Second, ask an open-ended question. Something they can't just answer with yes or no. Third, and this is key, actually listen to their answer and share a little something yourself. And finally, know how to politely wrap it up and transition into the meeting. Okay, let's switch gears. Time for a little rapid fire round. We're going to decode some of that common office jargon, the lingo you hear thrown around all the time. Think of this as your quick start translation guide. First up, touch base. You'll hear this one constantly. It just means let's have a quick chat or let's check in. It signals something informal and brief, definitely not a formal hour-long meeting. Next, circle back. A true classic. This is basically a polite way of saying, that's a good idea, but we don't have time for it right now, so let's talk about it later. It keeps the meeting on track without making anyone feel dismissed. And finally, bandwidth. And no, not your internet connection. In the office, this means your personal capacity, your time, your energy, your ability to take on more work. Saying, I just don't have the bandwidth, is a super common and professional way to say I'm too busy without sounding unhelpful. So wow, we've covered being indirect, the real point of small talk, and decoded some of that tricky jargon. Now let's pull all these pieces together. We're going to build a practical conversational toolkit that you can start using like tomorrow. Here it is, your toolkit for success. Number 1, become a bit of a detective. Listen for what's really being said behind all the polite words. Number 2, start using those softening phrases yourself. Things like, I was just wondering if, can make a huge difference. Third, practice that 4-step small talk formula. And maybe the most important one, don't ever be afraid to just ask what something means. Saying, hey, that's a new one for me. What does circle back mean exactly? Shows you're confident and you want to learn. And this really matters because getting a handle on these unwritten rules is about so much more than just fitting in. It's like this quote says,
Communication is the language of leadership. When you understand this code, you're giving yourself a massive tool for your own career growth. So, I'll leave you with a question to chew on. Thinking about everything we've just covered, what's one conversation, one email, or even just one meeting that you'll approach a little bit differently this week? Because that's where the real change starts.